Good evening. Good evening. Well, I guess I should say good night. I'm just going to be on here in just a few minutes. Just want to have a conversation with you. I know you're working. Right now it's hard to see you move, and yeah, I'm not okay. Some things I just can't excuse. On the air tonight, I want to give a shout out to uh, one of our indie artists, Agape Love, here at OPNS. Just showing them some love tonight. Let it be known. Not okay. I need you, Lord. So welcome, welcome. I won't be on here long. We're just going to have a little talk. So what that means is tonight I want you to talk back to me. How about that? So here we grow. Let it flow like water. That's one of our upcoming indie groups. As a matter of fact, it's a husband and wife duo, Agape Love. I'm loving that song. Let it flow like water. Welcome, welcome, guys. We're just gonna have a little bit of conversation tonight. Trying to do something a little different with the gospel jazz hour. And this is when everybody is wound down and you can get just a little bit out of you. So listen, let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it. This is our new segment, Smoothest Gospel Jazz Candid Convo. So we're going to talk about something that should be a hot topic, but I've only seen it maybe once or twice. So we know here all last year we dealt with COVID. We're still dealing with COVID. I happened to, I don't know if someone tagged me in it or if I stumbled upon it, but I saw a video with Dr. Fauci talking about where we are as far as he is concerned with the COVID vaccine. And I just want to know, how do you feel about, what's being told and revealed now? One of the latest statements that I heard was, we're not quite sure if this vaccine will actually work against COVID, but we know that it'll protect you from other things. Well, I don't think we were really worried about other things in this season. Everybody is running to get this vaccination because we're being told that it is, for sure going to protect us against COVID. So I want to talk about it. We've heard that for the last 4 or 5 months, go get vaccinated, this, that, and the other. And listen, I'm not judging anybody, to each his own. If you've gotten it, that's your business. This is basically an opportunity for us to voice our outlook on it because we grow best together. Maybe there's something that you can say that would shed some light on it for somebody else. That may shed some light on it for me. So, our Smoothest Gospel Jazz Candid Conversation. Let's talk about it. How do you feel about now all of a sudden we're being told that, we're not quite sure if the vaccination will work. We know that it will work against other things and against other illnesses, but we're not really quite sure if this is going to make you immune to getting COVID. Now, hearing Dr. Fauci, who has talked about us getting the vaccination for the last couple of months, how does that make you feel to know that, in so many words, it's sort of flipped right now? Well, we don't know if it's going to protect you, but you know what? Get it anyway and continue your social distancing. I want to talk about it. How does that make you feel? Believe me, I got a whole list of feelings when it comes down to, us trusting, I guess you can say the government, the doctors, the powers that be, to help us get this COVID under control. Truly, we've seen that the numbers are going down. We've seen that hospitalizations are going down. I don't think that we can take and give this vaccination that credit because it takes time for this thing to get in your system to make you immune to anything. So with us knowing that, why do we feel like the numbers are going down, and how do we feel about, this new statement? We don't know whether or not the vaccine works. And it's not my words. I saw a clip, an interview with Dr. Fauci on last night, making that very same statement. And anybody that knows me, I don't get into politics and the he say, she say. But I want to be able to talk about it and give us an opportunity to voice our opinion on where we stand as a people, as a nation. So, how do you feel about it? Let's talk about it. That's what this moment is about. I'm not going to be on here very long, but I think that this is a time where we need to understand silence is not the key. We have been silent long enough. We have, held in how we feel about a thing that is pertaining to our mere existence long enough. So, how do you feel about it? To now know that we've gone from, yes, receiving the vaccine will be the only way that we can beat COVID. It will be the only way that we can survive COVID, to now hearing Dr. Fauci himself say, well, I'm not quite sure if it's going to fight against COVID, but we do know that it will fight against other diseases. How do you feel about that? And do you feel as if it's just a whole bunch of misinformation? Can't even say miscommunication because, hey, you can't turn on your TV without seeing something in reference to COVID. But I just do believe that, as we're seeing it right before our eyes, we're being told one thing in one season, and then just a few months here later, we're being told something completely different. This is our moment. How do you feel about it? Let's talk about it. Put your comments in the feed here because we grow best together. That's one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight. And then the other thing I want to talk about is, I don't know if you've seen it in the news, that Texas has lifted all of its restrictions. All of the businesses are 100% back open. There's not a mask mandate. There's none of that. So, here we are. What do we do with this? What do we do with this? Do we continue to social distance? Do we continue to wear the mask? Or do we treat it like it's really not a big deal because, hey, we're getting vaccinated? So that's what we're wanting to talk about tonight. And for those of you that are following us on social media, we want to hear from you. We are right now tuned in. Thank you, Jesus, to 13 different countries. So that's a beautiful thing. Amen, Jesus. So this definitely is a hot topic for us tonight here at OPNS 97.1. But I wanted to be able to come live and actually talk with you, give you an opportunity so I can share your thoughts and your views with our listeners. So 2 questions. The latest statement from Dr. Fauci, letting it be known that he's not sure whether or not the vaccine will actually protect us from COVID. And number 2, the state of Texas lifting all of its restrictions. I know last year, and I'll be on for maybe another 10 minutes here, and then I got to get back on the air. But I know last year when everything was climbing and everything was shut down, and you had a lot of mandates in place, where if we did not abide by the things that were put in place to keep us safe, there were consequences. Well, it seemed like people knowing that there were consequences made people stay home, made people wear their masks, made people, social distance. I know for me, it just seems like we've gotten a little lax in this. Nobody is saying that we have to be stressed out or walking around in fear, but come on, let's keep it real. The numbers dropped dramatically once we stayed home. Once the schools were closed, and really everybody wasn't having to deal and going out and about, and the clubs open, and all of this stuff. And so now it seemed like it's slowly going back in that direction. And my biggest concern is that we're going to find ourselves back, I guess you say, on a dramatic elevation of this thing. So what do you think? This is our time. Let's talk about it. Put your thoughts in the comments. And a lot of people say, well, I'm tired of talking about COVID. Well, at the end of the day, people perish for the lack of knowledge, because of the lack of knowledge. So we're in a time where people have found their voice. Okay, let's use it. Let's use it on any outlet, any platform that is made available, because believe me, this stuff does walk, and people they hear your concerns. So what are your concerns about the narrative, the verbiage, surrounding the vaccine, whether you've gotten it or not? That is not what this is about. It's just now the change in the conversation, hearing Dr. Fauci say that they're not sure whether or not this vaccination will work against COVID. They're not sure that once you get the vaccinations that you still can't catch COVID. I just know for me, I remember it being worded a different way, especially when the hype was being built for us to get vaccinated. So now that the verbiage has changed and we're being told, you know what, we're not quite sure whether this is going to work against COVID, but we know that it's going to protect you against other stuff. We're not really worried about the other stuff right now because the other stuff is not what has shut the world down. COVID has shut the world down. So, hey, let's talk about it. How do you feel about it? So definitely thank you guys for continuing to chime in and continuing to follow us here at OPNS 97.1. We're going to do this every other night. We're going to have a candid conversation. And that's exactly what it is. It's not a judgment time. It's none of that. It's a candid conversation on how you feel about what's going on in the world right now, because we can try to ignore it all day long, but if we don't walk in wisdom, if we don't walk understanding that, God is speaking and we have to take heed to what he's saying. So, two topics before I log off here. How do you feel about Dr. Fauci's changing the verbiage when it comes down to the vaccination? He's letting it be known that they're not quite sure now whether or not this is going to prevent us from catching COVID. But he knows that it will help us not catch other stuff. And then the second topic, because of the vaccination and everybody being built up, about getting the vaccination, the governor of Texas has already let it be known that he feels very positive, and that they've reopened at 100% all of the businesses. Do we realize the domino effect that this could cause on the land yet again? So, hey, even after I get off live here, if you chime in, leave your message, leave your comments there, because we need to know, we need to interact. It's not about gossip. It's not about beating anybody over the head. It's about sharing the knowledge that, somebody else may have that we don't have. But I do think that these two topics, these two questions are indeed worth talking about here at OPNS 97.1. So, like I said, we're going to do this candid conversation with the smoothest gospel jazz every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Take the time to be able to interact with you guys and show our appreciation for you keeping us as your favorite inspiration station. Believe me, believe me, I am just ecstatic at what God is doing with this station. So, hey, two topics. Dr. Fauci, he's changed his story pertaining to the vaccination, and the state of Texas lifted all of their restrictions, and everybody is 100% back open and can go back to work. What do you think about it? I know what my thoughts are, but this moment is to take and actually ask you, what do you think about it? What do you think we should do? How do you think we should move pertaining to this? It's not about a fear factor, because yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, but also people perish for the lack of knowledge. So this is that moment where we got to know what's going on. We got to know which way the wind is blowing, because at the end of the day, hey, the stores we go into, the sending our kids back to school, the going out to dine. Yeah, it seems like to me, we need to still social distance for a while. We still need the mask. But hey, it ain't just about my opinion. What do you think? Hey, Smoothest Gospel Jazz, our candid convo. Want to hear from you. We definitely will share your opinions over the air. God bless you and have a blessed night. Here we grow.